Hey guys, Mrs. Kirchhoff here. I wanted to talk to you about the journey map you're creating this week. So last week you should have created a journey graph where you were graphing the highs and lows of your life. For this week, you are going to develop a map of your journey using that life graph. So you can do this several different ways. You can go old school and just use a piece of blank paper and art supplies and draw your map that way. You can get creative with Google Docs and do a digital version, or you can use this program called MindMap. So what I've done is I've linked two videos on this assignment to explain how to use MindMap. So the first video, this one here in red, was actually created by Mrs. Borowitz, and it explains how to download the MindMap program onto your Chromebook. This next video is from YouTube, and it's just, I believe it's a teacher on YouTube who created this video on how to use the program itself. So I'm not super familiar with this program, so you'll definitely want to check out these two videos for help and let me know if you have questions. So like I said, you can create your map using paper and art supplies, you can use Google Docs, or you can use this mind map program. So this is what I'd like you to do. Your map will contain the path that you have traveled in your life, so please include an appropriate title. Use appropriate symbols and colors to represent the highs and low times in your life. You will need 10 events total, the 10 events from your life graph. Also, be sure to include a legend describing your symbols. So for instance, if you put a high point on there, maybe you could do all the high points in one color. You put a low point on there, do all the low points a color. And then maybe you have an event that's both a high and a low. For instance, maybe at some point you move to a new school or you switch schools. So in a way, that's a high point because you're meeting new friends, gaining new experiences, but it's also a low point because you are leaving behind friends and it's a little scary to try something new. So I'd like you to include a legend describing your symbols. And then if you're using MindMap, you can even upload personal photos into your map. So that's kind of cool. And then if possible, if you're using Google Docs or if you're using paper and art supplies, think of this map as a metaphor for your life. So what do you want your map to resemble? You could set it up like a board game, like you could do sort of like your own version of Chutes and Ladders, where you have to kind of um, continue on this board game and you have little pictures and you have life events represented. Maybe it's your favorite type of food, and that's the background for your map. Um, Maybe it's your favorite vacation spot. It could be a list of books, a recipe card, a scorecard, or a playbook. Get creative with this. So think about maybe something that's really important to you, and then see how you can incorporate that into your map. So if you're using MindMap, it might be a little bit harder to incorporate those symbols, but definitely you can do that if you're using paper and art supplies, and I think you could even do it if you're using Google Docs. So this is the rubric on how you will be scored. Your map should include all the roads, the various terrain encountered, the twists and turns, the detours, the roadblocks, etc. So essentially, like making it look like a map or getting creative and making it look like a metaphor, right? A board game, a type of food, etc. Please include 10 places on your map. That is super important. And again, you should already have those developed from your journey graph from last week. You also need to include a legend or a key with at least 3 symbols from your map. Please make sure that you have an appropriate title and it must be in color. So all of this together will be worth 20 points. If you have any questions about this assignment, please feel free to email me. You can call me during my office hours or you can join me during the Zoom session on Wednesday. The last thing that I wanted to mention, once you've created your map, you are going to attach it to this assignment. So my view looks a little bit different because I have the teacher version, but I believe up in the right-hand corner, you will have the add option. So you can add a photo that you've uploaded into your Google Drive. So for instance, if you draw your map using paper and art supplies, you can save it into your Google Drive and then add the photo as an attachment to this assignment. Same thing with Google Docs. You can add it from your Google Drive. And then if you're using MindMap, let me know and we can decide how you're going to send it to me that way. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, and I'll talk to you soon. Go Bears.